Hello, people. How you doing today? I am here. I'm Lee Cole 3. I'm here with my partner James Proctor. James, how are you doing?
Hey, doing good today. How are you?
And we got a very big time guest here today. He just he came off a show, very successful show, Chicky, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lee. It turned out pretty good. Thank you, Lee. Hi, James. How are you?
Hey,
And
I'm
what?
doing really good. Thanks for coming on, Chicky.
And just tell us the name of the show you on, so people know where to go to look at it.
It's Ian Bick, IANBICK. Ian Bick at his show is called Locked In, LOCKED, Locked In. Um, kids been out there probably about 3-4 months. He's got 122,000 subscribers. We did a show about 13 days ago. It's roughly over almost 85,000 views in 13 days. So yeah, it went good. Everything went good. I'm blessed.
And Chicky, I'm going to ask you one quick question. This show ain't about you, but I'm going to ask you this question. Uh, Now it's obvious that you've been around people that were in the
Lee?
life, and nobody could say otherwise.
Yeah.
Does it kind of bother you when people call you? They say, "Oh, you're a fraud. You weren't in the life," and stuff like that.
Lee, I'll be honest with you. About 8-9 months ago, it bothered me. But at the end of the day, I only tell my story. I don't try to pretend I'm something I'm not. I don't tell other people's story. I only tell my story. And if you listen to any interview I do, it's just my story. I don't try to pretend I'm a big gangster, tough guy, and I killed people. I'm not one of these guys out there that, today I killed 2 people, tomorrow I killed 15. It's the same guy. I'm not like that. I just tell my little story. And to some people, maybe it's not interesting. And other people, obviously, it's interesting. In 13 days, I got 85,000 views.
And
Just
you got a
being
lot,
myself.
and you got a lot of good remarks. And I was reading some of the comments; they were very good.
Yeah, thank you, Lee.
You're always going to get your idiots. I get tons of idiots. The only persons they don't make fun of is James. They make fun of me. They make fun of you, but not James. Why the hell is that, James?
Well, they make fun of me. Aren't I a hillbilly and a hick and all that?
No, no, they like to call you spree
Oh,
killer.
yeah, that's right. I'm that too.
You're burying
I guess
bodies in
that's
your
better
backyard.
than being feminine or something.
Hey, listen, whatever floats your boat, James.
Remember, Lee and James, you'll never do better. A hater will never do better than you. Just remember that.
Thank you.
So we're gonna talk about the John and Gene show, and the reason I'm doing this is because Gene's getting out of jail, and the John and Gene show, from what they're saying, is going to start back up. And reason I'm saying that is because that show originally, when it came out, did really well, didn't it?
Yeah, incredible. Big numbers. Yeah, absolutely.
And they pretty much led the way into here. I mean, you had a few shows like Jeff Canarsie and a couple other shows, but they're the ones that really came into the mob genre, and they were the first people here. And for the first year, they had a break, and then everybody started coming in and questioning John Alite, and they kind of did a number on him.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to play something. And we're going to talk about that show, and I want your honest opinion about what I'm going to play right here. This video I'm going to play is John Alite in the green room of Value Entertainment when he did that interview over there. Vlad, one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
And where were you at that point? Like, what?
I was staying with them regularly, day and night.
Okay.
I was a senior. Gottis Senior said to everybody, to other crews, to Anthony Gaspipe, I'm like a skipper, captain in their family. I'm a guy.
You hear what he just said, right? He said that John Gotti Sr. went to gas pipe and talked to him about this guy.
Yeah.
I'm a hitter. I was known to be an enforcer. He told Gaspipe, because I'm Albanian, this is who I am. His son is very verbal now. He's out all over the street saying, they talk highly about me. He said I was like a boss. I was the street boss. So when they try to turn that around, say he's Albanian, it's nonsense. A tough guy's a killer, a killer's a killer, a tough guy's an enforcer, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nobody's asking what's your nationality today. Oh, you can't shoot him in the head. It doesn't work like that. They can bullshit everybody, try to bullshit people that don't.
Okay. I don't want to play too much of that because there's a lot of cursing at the end of it.
Right.
Okay. So, Chicky, honestly, he just said in that video and this is before he really came on here. He said, one, that he was a street boss. He said, two, that he was like a capo. Three, he said John Gotti went to gas pipe. Do you believe any of those three?
Lee, I was never a guy that was made. I was never a high level guy. I was only who I was. But I mean, I heard right from the horse's mouth from 1989 to 91, he was around Junior, 100%.
No, Chicky, I didn't ask you that. Do you believe what he's saying there, that John
No.
Gotti Sr.?
Absolutely not.
And you don't think that gas pipe even knew who this dude was, right?
Come on.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not trying to put you in the corner. I'm just, I want straight facts. I don't want you to attack nobody. And
No.
we're just going to go over this. And now you're pretty much friends with John Jr., aren't you?
Yeah, very good friends.
So what is John Jr.'s opinion of him in general? If you talk to John overall, what's his opinion?
His opinion is the guy was with him from 1989 through 91, 100%. He was around them. He was a friend. They were around. But at the end of the day, they chased him out of Howard Beach, and anything he did after 91 as far as drugs or this or that, he used the Gotti name, and he wasn't around. They chased him away. So for 2 years, he was around them. Other than anything he did after 91, John didn't know nothing about it, had nothing to do with it, and they pretty much chased him.
And the reason they chased him is because John Jr. basically told him to stop using our name for what you're drug dealing.
Exactly.
Okay. And so how did you meet John Jr.?
Myself?
Yes.
I met him through the MMA world, through his son, roughly 2015, 16. We met him in an MMA event, and we got along great. And I was really impressed with him, his positivity, everything he went through in life, and that, he came back, home after fighting all the trials, winning all the trials and everything he did. And he has 6 children, and he's a great father. And he impressed me. I got to be honest with you. And I guess I want to say he took a liking to me, and we ended up going out to Oyster Bay, Long Island, where he lives. And we ate dinner with him. And the guy's a real, he set a good example for us. And I just got along with him. Me and my few friends. I had another friend that was in Raybrook with him for 6 years, and we got together and we hit it off, and it was a mutual respect, and I like him a lot to this day. I got a lot of respect for him, what he did. So
you're still in good standings with John?
He texted me 3 days ago.
Okay. And James, what would you like to ask Chicky about his relationship with John Jr.?
Yeah, so, actually a question about John Alite and Jr. So I know we're establishing that you're friends with John Jr. And so one of the things that I noticed when I was doing research on John Alite is that he had mentioned, and other people had mentioned in articles, that he was John Jr.'s best man at his wedding. That was in 1990. Do you know if that's true? And then I've also heard other stories that John Jr. was actually Alite's best man at his wedding. And so, do you know the truth about that? Because I've looked at photos and everything from the wedding of John Jr. and hadn't really seen. I know Alite was there, but I wasn't sure about being best man.
I'm just being totally honest with you. I mean, me and John never discussed that. And like I said, I mean, if you listen to Alite, he tells you the amount of money he gave for his wedding and everything. So, me personally, I have no idea of that. Like I said, whatever year, I know he was around from 80 to 91. So it's not, I can't tell you the true answer to that.
I can answer this.
Yeah.
He was at his wedding. He wasn't his best man.
Okay. That's kind of my thought.
And the natural thing is when somebody comes to your wedding, especially in that life, they're going to give you a gift. And nobody is saying, I'm just going to put something up. And this is what people have to understand. We are not here saying that there wasn't a relationship, because I'm going to show you something right here. There was definitely a relationship between John Jr. and between John Alite. Would you guys agree?
100%.
And Gotti Jr.'s admitted to having that friendship.
And right there, you see them. And in this picture, this is when John Gotti wanted, according to him, wanted to make him a bodyguard. He's the little guy in the middle.
Yeah.
And but see, here's what bothers me about this whole thing. You have a whole new group of people coming into the mob genre, and this picture is floating around out there. I don't know, Chicky, have you seen this picture?
Hey, I'm just waiting for them to put me on the other side next to the other guy with the beige jacket.
Well, let me tell you something about this picture. I found this on Reddit, right? I'm sure other people have seen it.
Right.
This is on Reddit, and there were like 30 people below the picture saying, "Oh, wow, that proves that he's real."
Yeah.
And the picture is fake. As we know, with the guy standing behind him, that picture was, I believe, isn't that Big Steve?
I can't. Way in the back on the left. I'm not sure. I just
right
can't
next
see
to him,
that.
next to the car. Okay.
I can't see. I can't see that good. I know
Okay,
Big
well,
Steve.
anyway.
I know Big Steve personally. I just can't see close enough.
Okay, God, I got a blind guys here.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, so that you see John A. in that, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, so this is it's very easy to make these nowadays.
Of course it is.
And you got all these young people that are seeing this and believing it. That's what really, because we know that this is a very famous picture without John A.
Right.
And see, that's why I wanted to do this show, because you have people say, "Oh, we've talked about this already," but there's a whole new group of people in here. And if you don't re-educate them, they're going to believe what this man says. Would you agree with that, Chicky?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree with it, and I'm going to also tell you, he's got a great thing going, because he plays, he looks the part. He's got the nice hair, and he got his teeth fixed, and he plays a good part when he goes on Vlad. He wears the glasses. I mean, he's got a nice thing. He's got a nice thing going.
You got what you're saying here is great stuff you're saying, because
A facade.
I spoke to Angel Gotti, and remember, this is the original picture that I'm about to put up of him when he was with John in the middle here.
Right.
And he's literally redone his whole image from that image of him in that white outfit. There he doesn't look like nothing like a gangster. Now he looks like the ultimate poster boy for a gangster. Would you say?
Yeah, he looks the part for sure, 100%.
And what this guy has done is people can say whatever they want about him, but when he pops up in these very popular shows like on Netflix and stuff, Chicky, do you ever say, how the hell did he just do that? What's he doing there? Because the stuff that comes out of his mouth is so ridiculous. Like 5 guys came to his house for a gunfight, and no cops came, and I guess he left them dead in the woods. I mean, did you see any of those shows?
Like I said, I'm in New England, so I didn't grow up in New York, and I'm sure he did some things, but I mean, not compared to what he's
Chicky,
saying.
It sounds like you're trying to get around this whole thing with John.
No, I'm not getting around nothing. I'm just being honest. I'm sure he did a couple things, but it's nothing like he's saying. That's what I'm trying to say. It's nothing like, one day I killed 3 guys, then he killed 14. I mean, 8, 9 bodies. I don't know how you can forget about that. That's what I'm saying.
Do you believe that he knew John Gotti?
The father?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I believe maybe they were in each other's presence, 10 feet away from each other, walking around. Yeah. But for him to go up and talk to him, or for John Sr. to send him the gas pipe to talk to him and say whatever, absolutely not. My opinion.
And what would the main reason for you saying that be?
I'm sorry, what was the what?
What would be the main reason and why John Gotti wouldn't be around other people? Was it because John Gotti had a certain group of guys that he was with, and that's it?
Come on. I mean, look in the history, the organized crime history books. He was around. He had a crew of serious guys. I mean,
Carniglia, he had Watts around.
Carniglia, Joe Watts. I mean, you can go on, and both brothers, Carniglia brothers. I mean, you can go on and on and on. He had a crew of probably all serious guys. I mean, for John A. to say he was around them, and especially I heard one of the things he said where he was getting a call the night Paul Castellano got killed. I mean, really, whoever believes that really I don't know. Maybe they're searching for somebody to be. I don't know what to tell you. It's ridiculous.
And you know, I'm going to put something else up here. That see, here's the problem. The problem is when a lot of these government informants come in here, some of them are real guys. There's no doubt. Mikey Scars is a real guy. Dominic Ciccali's a real guy. Gravano, Francis. But then you have these fringe guys like Alite and Gene Borrello. They start a show. What do you think about Sammy Gravano when he first came in, vouching for him?
Well, if I paid somebody $5,000, they would say Chicky was the biggest killer on the East Coast. You know, I mean, it worked like that. Sammy came out of jail, I guess, from what I'm understanding. He came out of jail. He was broke, and you know, like I said, one thing I'll say about John Alite, he's a very good manipulator. He's great at reading things like the Sammy the Bull thing. You know what I mean? Sammy the Bull comes out. He's broke. He sends him some money. He says, "Hey, mention me. Say something." And of course, he did. And then, you know, fast forward a year later or whatever it is, and then Sammy the Bull got money. He don't need nobody, and he tells the truth. You know you know.
So I'm gonna play this just so people see. This is the problem here. The problem in here is that you have these guys vouching for each other. There's a certain group of them like Hootie, Gene. They're all vouching for one another. And these are the fringe guys. These are guys that may have been around people, but they weren't really much in the life. That's just my opinion.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to play this. So just so people know, this is Sammy Gravano, his very first call about Alite, saying that he's saying John Alite was a very powerful member of the Gambino family.
Okay. We heard that he testified against John Gotti Jr.
Okay, well, we're going to stop that there because
Yeah.
so I just went so basic. The voice is very bad on that, but basically what Sammy's saying in there is that John is the real deal. Now, this is just when Sammy got out of prison.
Yeah.
So Sammy was broke when he got out of prison. Want to tell us what happened there, Chicky?
From what I understand, you know, he was coming out. He didn't know what direction he wanted to go, from what I'm understanding, and he was broke. And I guess Alite reached out to him and said, "Listen, I got some money for you. You know, get you started." He sent him some money, and I'm sure they had a conversation or at least a text message where he said, "You know, I'm sending this to you. You know, go on social media and you know, prop me up a little bit." And of course, at that time, Sammy, you know, it is what it is. You know, he said what he had to say. But then when things got better, his show took off and money started coming in, then he realized, you know, I better make this right. And he told the truth. I mean, as far as the John Alite story, nothing else.
And here we are a few years later. At this time, Alite's fighting with Sammy, and this is what Sammy has to say about John Alite. And this is after he said this guy's a legit guy.
I met who are full of shit. Make-believe gangsters. Now, I don't want to put names out, and I don't want to do that. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. It's full of shit. Everything the guy says is bullshit. And it's weird because an Albanian guy talked to me not too long ago. And he mentioned the guy's name. And I said, I'd really rather not talk about people behind their back. I'm the type of guy, I like to talk to you face to face. And he said, I just wanted to tell you, Sammy, we're so disappointed in this guy. We're ashamed of him. So that was it. So I'll make you guys try to guess who is who and who's what.
Okay, so we know Albanian guy. We know he's talking about because he really went at Gravano and Alite have been in it. And Gravano stated that Alite wanted him on an interview after he gave him the money. He refused. And then that's when all shit hit the fan. So don't you find it kind of deceitful when these guys are being paid money to shout people out? Then all of a sudden, as soon as they have money, they're saying I lied.
You asking me, Lee?
Yes.
I would say, listen, I mean, in their life throughout all the streets, they were shysters. So they're just shystering these content creators, which shame on them for not checking them out thoroughly. They just believe every story they tell. And so shame on the content creators. I mean, I'm just telling you facts. I was in MCC Manhattan with Alex Rudeye, Lenny, and Nikki Nails. Them guys were part of the Bronx Albanian crew, who you can look up. Alex Rudeye, allegedly, he was the boss of the Albanians in the Bronx. I was with him in 2006 in June with Vinny Basciano. We were all in 11 South in MCC Manhattan. And Alex was like the real deal Albanian. And anybody can look him up. Maybe they know who I'm talking about. But they were serious guys, and they were gentlemen. And to be honest with you, I don't think he had no contact with them. They didn't know who he was, and these guys were the real deal Albanians. And they were nothing but gentlemen with me personally.
Okay, James, you want to ask Chicky something?
Yeah. So one of the things that that I found interesting is that and I don't know how much you've followed John Alite, but when there's an author, Peter Lance, that basically in 2015 you had the situation where John Alite had a violation of supervised release, and he ended up, I believe, getting three months in prison. And so one of the things that came out of that 14-page letter that Peter Lance sent to the judge Bucklew was that Alite would do stuff like send emails. He would threaten people, do cyberbullying. He'd have behaviors that were very that was concerning to people. Are you aware of those type of behaviors that John has done, or since he's been on? Because this was like 2015, and so he had already been released for a few years, and had actually did some of the stuff on like Nat Geo and everything, and had his book that had came out, Gotti Rules. So I was just curious if you were aware of some of those type of allegations of threatening emails and that type of stuff.
Yeah, to be honest with you, James, I was aware of that, and what John Alite put the Gottis through, Angel, John Jr., the whole family, from 2015 on, in every aspect of social media was disgusting. I mean, he names his book Gotti Rules. He puts the front cover, I believe the front cover is John Jr. And it's a picture of John Jr. on the cover. So, I mean, in my opinion, and, like I said, maybe I don't know nothing, but in my opinion, he was looking to write the book and make money off the Gotti name and the Gotti. Look at the front cover. There's John Jr., and then he's got his mugshot up there on the right. But it's funny, they should put another picture of him on the right corner of him in court testifying against John Jr., trying to put him in jail for life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go, James.
No. And then there was, apparently he had made some claims saying that Gotti Jr. was a CI, a confidential informant. And so basically this guy, Peter Lance, had actually dealt with confidential informants because he did the book about Greg Scarpa and the FBI agent that was basically allowing Greg Scarpa for over 20 years to, run ragged, do whatever he wanted on the street. And so anyway, there was a lot of allegations like that. Gotti was a confidential informant.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, no confidential informant has to fight 5 cases in 3 years. And I'm not talking about cases where you got to do 8 years, 6 years, 10 years. You're talking about death penalty cases, lights out, life in prison. I mean, if you're a confidential informant, you're not fighting 5 trials in 3 years. You're not, putting up millions and millions of dollars in law bills, and you're just not doing that. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, and I talked to a lot of people that are in the legal industry that looked over John Jr.'s case, and they all said the same thing. I agree with them 100%. Is John? It was a play, in my opinion, in their opinion. When he sat down with the government, it wasn't to be a CI, nothing like that. He wanted it on record that he sat with the government, whatever the bullshit he told them, because then for a future trial, he could say, listen, I'm out of the life like he was. And anybody that's in the life couldn't sit down with the government. So I sat down with the government. That proves I'm out of the life. So to my opinion, and people that I'm around that checked it out, that just, they didn't really check it out, but they looked into it. They're like, listen, it was one of the best legal strategy moves in history, but you're going to have haters that are going to make up crazy shit. It's just, I can tell you one thing about John Jr. He still lives in New York. He's around every day. He goes and visits his mother. He's in Howard Beach. He's at all the fights with thousands of people around him, and not one person walks up to him and calls him a CI or abuses him. They love him, and I see it firsthand. I've been in Oyster Bay where he lives, and don't get me wrong, he's a gentleman. They like him because he's a gentleman, not for any other reason, but he's around every day. Everybody else don't live in New York no more. He's around New York, walking around, going to his son's fights, coming to New England, and I'm only can tell you what I can see, and I don't know what's being said secretly or whatever they're saying on the internet, but I know one thing: he's very well respected still to this day. He can walk anywhere he wants with his head up high.
And okay, so we're gonna get back. So he has his show going, right? And then he hooks up, and he kind of at this time, very few people know who Gene Borrello is. Then Gene Borrello shows up, goes on his show, and he basically tells everybody that Gene's a Bonanno enforcer. And what he did is he testified against Ronnie G. Alonzo and Asaro. And one of them was on a burned car. He testified against one of the Gottis kids who was in jail. And he testified against a lot of people. How deep do you think Gene Borrello was into that life?
I don't know him personally. I'm not from New York or Howard Beach area. But, from what I'm hearing, he ran around the streets and he was crazy from what I'm hearing from people. And yeah, did he run around for Ronnie G. Alonzo? Absolutely. I think he did a little bit to a certain level. And, maybe did he have run-ins with Vinny Asaro? Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't at the meetings, but he's got a good story, whether a lot of it's not true. He plays the part, he goes on shows and he wears the Gucci shirt. And, listen, the both of them are very good at portraying, they have the show. All the girls are writing, oh my God, you're handsome. And so they got a good stick going as far as the glasses and all the hair and, whatever. Hey, look at how many viewers they got. So the bottom line is they had a good stick at what they were doing.
Okay, and then as we know, everything imploded along the line. The show was doing well, and then Gene imploded. But we do know this: Gene was doing pages, really horrible pages of people he didn't like and doing twisted, demented sexual stuff he was putting on the picture. He got caught. Actually, he admitted that he was doing the pages. And you know what I'm talking about there, right, Chicky?
Yeah.
The Instagram pages where he was attacking Gottis on a regular basis.
Putting fake accounts, it is what it is. Yeah, it's out there. Everybody knows it. It's not like, it is what it is.
And they were also talking about their show was to help kids.
Yeah.
Was it really, Chicky?
I don't know. They sold baseball. He was selling baseball bats on his show. So he was selling
right
baseball
here?
bats on the show. So if the guy, what was his name? The guy there that killed all the people, what was his name there? The serial killer.
There's so many of them in America.
Yeah. Well, anyways, if they sold knives or whatever they killed the people with, they signed their knives. Is that somebody is that somebody that changed him? Whatever. It is what Jeffrey Dahmer. So if Jeffrey Dahmer sold knives or hatchets that he cut people's heads off with, is that changing? I don't know. I'm just my opinion. I have no idea.
Yeah. So, and not only that, Gene Borrello wind up getting in trouble.
Somebody, you know, in my opinion, I hope somebody doesn't get killed or hurt by him because he's going to be off all restriction when he comes out, and God knows what he's going to do. And secondly, I wanted to mention that this same circle of people want to abuse John Jr., but I can be honest with you, John Jr. walks around Howard Beach, and I never see no videos of anybody chasing him out. So, you know, it is what it is. But I never seen a video of anybody in Howard Beach chasing John Jr. So they can make fun of him all they want, but you know, maybe somebody should put up a picture when he goes to Howard Beach, how people are shaking his hand and hugging him and paying respects to him still as a gentleman, not as a gangster, as a gentleman and a good father. And I'm just saying this from what I know. So, you don't see no videos of him getting chased out of Howard Beach.
So you got Gene Borrello, and great point here, Chicky and James. Would you talk about this? Gene Borrello's coming out, and everybody's saying he's happy he's off paper. To me, it's the worst thing that ever happened to him being off paper, because he doesn't have the United States government protecting him anymore. James, do you think that this is going to be a very bad thing for him? Because we know that some of the people he's going to hang out with in Florida. We know that, James.
Yeah, my thought is he capable of real change? You know, and that's something that the only thing you can base on is what's in the past. And so, you know, he's been sent back to prison twice, you know, for those violations. He's had at least 14, 15 violations, different types of violations. And so will he be able to change? So, you know, I know that supposedly he'll get mentoring and all that, but didn't that supposedly
he's going to be
happen last time
mentored?
before?
Wait. He's going to be mentored. Let's get this straight now. He's going to be mentored by other people that are in the same situation as him. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. And so, but didn't he?
So criminals mentoring criminals.
Yeah, I mean, but what about before? Didn't he get mentored before? Right?
Gene doesn't let anybody mentor. See, that's the thing. People think Gene runs his own game plan. Gene don't listen to nobody, and I know Gene quite well, as you guys know.
Right.
And I'm going to play this. So this is just a few short months ago. What I'm going to play right now.
See this face? Is this a face that looks like that I give a fuck? These fucking girls are crazy. Right? No, look. Crazy. They're crazy. Why do you torture my life? You fucking lunatic.
To the door.
I did this to the door. I pushed the door in. You're a dirty hoe. That's what you are. Hey, look, tell everybody how you fucked 100 guys. Tell everybody that on YouTube. Tell everybody that. Tell everybody you fucked your neighbor. Matter of fact, let me go talk to Andrew. I know we have, you know, I can't really get in touch with you, so you know the bullshit we going through. This fucking stupid ass fighting. You want to play games? I'm stabbing every single one of them. Let him cop you. Go. Watch.
So I had to show that video because he's going to be with the same person that got him into where he got into this trouble. He's getting out to be with that person. The odds are stacked against him, aren't they, Chicky?
I mean, during that video, and I know what's going on personally with the girl. I don't know the girl, but I mean, yeah, I got to laugh because the only thing I can think of is that girl. I mean, I don't know her, but to make him go crazy like that, I don't know. Maybe Andre Puccelli comes out of her private part and starts singing. There's something going on that's very unbelievable that drove him to that state. So I'm just looking. I'm glad she lives in Florida and I'm in New England, because if I met her, maybe I'd sell my condo, give her the money. I don't know. Something's going on that we don't know about. Special. But that being said, I feel bad. I just think maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am wrong, but I just think in the future, you know, maybe that girl is going to end up dead, or somebody else is going to end up dead, and then the government's going to say, oh, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we didn't know it was going to come to this, and by then it's going to be too late. Somebody's loved one's going to be dead.
Well, here's what the government's going to do. The government's going to say, well, we freed the guy. we're not responsible for him doing this. He just decided to do this, and that's what they're going to say. But the fact of the matter is he's going to a state that does that. Florida and Texas don't mess around. If you go to, he committed some crimes down in Florida and they let him go because of the fact that he was still in the federal program. He's now in, there's no federal program now. So he's kind of unprotected. He's kind of not protected, huh?
You know what's funny to me, just as an observer, is Gene comes out in a few months and he's got no restrictions. He can do whatever he wants. He can travel to any state. He's got what's the word, congé blanche, whatever. He can do whatever he wants. But you got a kid that he put in jail, which is Peter Gotti, Angel's younger brother, gentleman of a kid. His son Johnny is, I guess he's pretty close to getting out. Maybe he's in a halfway house, whatever it is. But here's a poor kid. He can't even go work at his own family business. He can't go work in his business. He can't work for family. He's got like 100 restrictions. But in a couple months, Gene's not going to have no restrictions. I mean, are we living in bizarro world? What's going on here?
And this kid took his time like a man. What, 8 years? He got quite a sentence.
Yeah.
And luckily he's getting out. He's getting out early. He has some strong people around him to guide him in the right direction. But the fact is that he went to prison because that was another victim of his ratting. But you're right. So he does his 8 years. He gets out. He's going to be on. His name's Gotti too, so that doesn't help the poor kid.
Well, of course, but that's not his fault.
No. But, if you have the name Gotti, they're not going to give you no type of, say, snitch or anything. They just want to make an example of you, and they're going to put you away. And what would you like to ask him about that, James?
No, but so we talk about, he's coming out, and my understanding is next month in August. So what? How does a person? I mean, you've obviously changed your life, Chicky. You're doing positive things in the world, and so how does a person like Gene actually turn that corner?
James, let me just explain what you. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off. I just want to explain Chicky's situation. Chicky just got off of probation. He had a lot of things against him that kept him in the house and locked up and stuff. And this is what James is talking about Chicky. I just wanted to put that out there. James,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just how do you make that? Because you've made that change. You've been able to, and you went through a lot of stuff that wasn't necessarily your fault either. And so how would he make that change? Because that's the thing is, even as a gangster, like you're still a target, and you'll get accused of stuff even if you didn't do anything wrong. But how does someone like him actually make that change in life, turn that corner?
Well, from what I'm seeing out there, what's crazy, what's tough about Gene, this is only my opinion. I got children. I got 2 beautiful daughters. I got grandchildren. I have 2 grandchildren. I got 2 on the way. So it's like I have an incentive to turn my life around, and I got good people in my corner that are kind of guiding me from afar. And they're like, Chicky, don't do this. You're making yourself look like a fool. And I appreciate that. But Gene don't have kids. Gene don't have grandkids. Gene don't have a wife. So, and this is just my opinion. I could be wrong or right. I'm just giving my opinion. But Gene really has no reason to change. He really doesn't, in my opinion. What does he have to change for? He has no kids to take care of. He's with the girl, whatever he chooses to do in his personal life in Florida. That's his business. But he has no reason to change. So, and obviously, from what I've seen the last year and a half, 2 years, or whatever it's been, he has issues where you should get him mental issues, obviously, because it is what it is. It's out there. But I'm just saying, I just pray, and we're doing this podcast. Like I said, I don't know Gene, but I pray that he don't end up killing somebody or just doing something crazy, and then it's too late after that. Like I said, a positive person don't do that. I believe in that.
And there's no, and Chicky, it's a great point. There's no family structure whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like James said, is that he's going to be mentored. He's going to be mentored by people that were in the life. I mean,
yeah.
And
And let me just say this, and I'm just telling you how I feel. There are people in the life that, I mean, I can't name them, but I mean, there are people in the life that they get out of the life, they testify, whatever, and they go away.
Right.
You never see them again, and they live a good life, and they get married, and they're baseball coaches, and they just stay out of the limelight, and that's the end of it. You never hear from them again, and their names are not mentioned.
yeah,
I mean, okay,
very
maybe
good
some
point,
of them-
Chicky. There's guys that are successful, you know, and even informants that are successful,
right,
and they do turn their life around.
right.
And so we got to give them guys a shout out. You know, even though they're informants, they still took advantage of what they were given.
Exactly.
Do you
And then
think?
there's other guys that they're not going to change. They're never going to change, and they're just going to go on the internet and they're going to, just embellish and like I said, there was a time period where certain content creator, certain one was saying I killed 2 people, and then 4 days later I killed 9 people. I mean, how do you forget about 7 bodies? I mean,
I've
that's
heard he's had it up to 40 people.
well, I don't know. Yeah.
He's had it up to 40 people and batted 100 people. I mean, the numbers
Well,
are all over the place.
at least he didn't kill. At least he didn't get it up to 300, and then the Pope too.
Yeah, and the Pope too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should ask Anthony Ramundi to mentor Gene.
Yeah.
You know, I think they both were on Cinemil TV. So, okay. Do you think that the government, you know that the district attorneys, the prosecutors are very angry at Gene, and they feel the judge has been a little bit light on them. Do you think that the prosecution just said, you know what, we're going to take you off probation because we know you're going to mess up, and then we don't have to worry about you no more?
In my own personal opinion, I don't think they're upset with Gene. I think they're all in cahoots. I really believe that in my heart of hearts. They can write all the letters they want and try to say we're going to put him in jail, but at the end of the day, there's always back deals and back sideways bullshit. I just believe they just said, it is what it is. I can't explain it, but I don't think that the prosecutors are as angry as you think they are, in my opinion.
Do you think that these guys that are released, like say Gene's totally released off everything, do you still think they can pick up that phone and call somebody when they want to give something?
I mean, absolutely. Okay, I mean, that's obvious, and it doesn't help. I mean, like I said, I don't know the poor girl in Florida. I really don't know her, but I do know people. And what she's doing is, unfortunately, and I have nothing against her. Whatever. I know she works as a realtor, whatever. God bless whatever she does. But from what I know personally, she's reaching out to friends of mine, texting them, saying, "Hey, let's get." I don't want to say let's get together, but talking to them, and she's driving Gene absolutely insane with other people. And at one point, she's even reached out to my friend and made comments about John the Fighter, the third, which John's happily with a girl, and he's never gonna. I mean, John the third is not like that. But so I mean, talk about adding insult to injury. I mean, it's just this girl's destined to get this kid in trouble.
Well, Polly, well, I'm sure that he's going to get. It's going to be hard to blame him too, because in any relationship he's been in, he has a history of doing this. No matter who the woman is,
Right.
he has a history of doing this. James.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I don't understand is someone like that. But what happens is that they have a codependency relationship, and so in my opinion, with Gene in prison, that is something that the girl likes because that is the one way that she can have control over him. It's kind of like we were talking about Rob Rosso, same way with his family, in my opinion, that these girls want to be able to have control, and the only way you can is when they're in jail. And then the other thing is there's a lot of immaturity, and then it's these things where each one of them want to make each other jealous. For some reason they feel that that's what's needed to keep the relationship spicy. I don't know, but it's just a lot of immaturity. And you gotta understand, Gene is he's going to be 40 next year, and he's got to grow up.
He's catching up to us, Chicky. He's catching up to us.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're seeing that with this girl doing things, in your circle of friends or texts and all that, I mean, it just doesn't look good, in my opinion. What do you
Well,
think?
She's actually reached out to friends of mine, dear friends of mine, and has talked to them, and we have the text messages. And then when she makes up with Gene, she tells Gene, "Oh, this guy's reaching out to me," and starts a fight between people I know and Gene, which my friend has all the texts where she reached out to him and was the aggressor through the whole thing. So I mean, when you're
Chicky,
dealing
She's
with,
looking for
you're
a
that guy,
boyfriend
Chicky.
or something, or is that
I'm
what it
sorry,
is? Is she looking for, like she's mad at Gene and she's just looking for a
absolutely.
guy to,
Well, looking to pump them up, and then when they get back together, she's like, "No, I never did that. He did it to me," and it's just a lot of craziness. And
she needs to be,
obviously,
she's a narcissist, it sounds like.
yeah,
Oh, good. I'm going to put this video up and I'm going to get some emails from her now, and she's going to be calling me
Yeah.
names. Thanks, guys.
no. I mean, in reality, like I said, I don't know the girl. I mean, she
Right.
seems like a very pretty, young professional girl. But like I said, I don't know nothing about nothing. But I can honestly say, I just hope. I know it's exciting, and maybe
Yeah.
whatever in her world is exciting to be with this kind of guy, and they're going crazy, whatever they're doing
Yeah.
privately. God bless them. But I just, like I said, she really, I don't know. If it was my daughter, I'd be very scared, and I just hope she don't. I mean, I hope we're not doing another show a year from now or 2 years.
Well,
from now.
yeah, it's funny you said that because I'm about to ask you a question, guys. And we're going to use this like for a time capsule. In 1 year from now, make your prediction, James.
Well, I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm telling you, I'd be kind of more afraid of her. He might be the one that gets the bad end of it instead of her, but you know, yeah, the reality is she's tough. I wouldn't mess with her,
Well,
but
she's definitely a tough girl.
yeah,
Chicky?
but no, I just think I think unless he gets some sort of change in his life, he's going to go down the same path. He's going to be getting in trouble, and he's probably going to be facing more charges or allegations if he doesn't, unless he makes really serious efforts to change. It's just you only can base it on what he's done in the past. So unfortunately, I don't have a good
We have to
feeling
go by
about a
what's
year
come
from now.
in the past.
Yeah.
Chicky, what do you think?
I can only give my opinion, and my opinion is that she's got a couple months before Gene gets out. I think she should go get a Home Depot credit card because she's going to need a lot more doors and sidings and other things, in my opinion.
Okay, well, that's good, guys. Okay, so we're at the point now where I'm going to end this, but I appreciate you coming on, Chicky.
Absolutely.
And it was just and the main reason I wanted to cover this because he is getting out. They will be getting back together. And people are saying, no, they're not getting back together, but I heard it from pretty reliable sources. But he is, we do know who he's doing his first interview with, and it ain't John Alite. But I'm not going to name that because that's personal. But we'll just see what happens. Wish him the best. That's all we could do. We don't wish anybody the worst. You hope he gets out and he's a changed man. That's all we could say. Chicky, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. Lee, James, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank
You
you,
take care of
Chicky. It's
yourself,
great
Chicky.
to have you on.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Okay, so James, that was a good show. I'll tell you what, you got to give Chicky a lot of credit because last time I interviewed him, he was all over the place. I had to keep speaking loud, and people got mad at me for speaking over him. So I think he's getting better tools down.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of him because he didn't really curse. I thought he was going to probably curse every at least a couple hundred times. He didn't curse during this interview.
And he didn't look like it didn't look like Chicky had like an agenda against these guys. He just came out and said what he said, and that's that. And we don't have an agenda. We just want to put it out there, and he's going to be coming out. According to sources, it's going to be less than a month, but I might be wrong. But from what I understand and from what we read on the documents, it's supposed to be August 4th, which is right around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know. I think he's done supposedly had jobs of construction down in Florida, but he never really did that work, I don't believe. And so that was part of the problem. I just don't know what his, what his ability to do work. I don't know what type of legitimate work he can do. I mean, that's going to be tough. I mean, and so I just think because of that, he's going to pursue something in social media. I mean, maybe acting, that type of stuff. I just think that.
And is he gonna get out and want revenge toward people like me that have done shows on him? I mean, his girlfriend has sent me actual emails telling me, wait until Gene gets out, we're gonna sue you, all sorts of threats I've gotten from her. So who knows?
Well, I would hope that. I just hope that he could realize he's got an opportunity to. The government's giving him a good opportunity to start over, and revenge is the worst thing to do because he did all this on his own. It's not like anyone did this.
Revenge has never worked. Revenge has never worked for him, James.
No, it's always got him back in a jam again, and so hopefully he can learn. But he's going to be out. I mean, it is relevant because he will be out, and he's going to be on social media. I mean, he just that's his avenue, and he's actually can be entertaining. So I just think he's going to go back to what he knows that he could do.
Yeah, he's not going to be. He's gonna. He might get out and say, "No, I'm not going to do it." He will.
Mhm.
But anyway, James, thank you, my man.
Hey, thank
people,
you, Lee.
Please, let me play this real quick, James.
Mhm.
Please subscribe, hit the like button and the reminder bell. And thank you. We appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed this. And everybody take care. We appreciate everything.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.